What's up, creative community? Welcome back to Talks on Acting and welcome back to the Coach MC studio. This is the place where we help you actors, performers, entertainers to really deliver exquisite, intriguing, and compelling behavior deliveries and to stand out in the audition room no matter where or what you're auditioning for. And today, I have a very special guest. Not only is he a superb acting teacher, but he's also a very accomplished, successful, and also renowned actor. So he's talking the talk and walking the walk, very inspirational, very powerful, very interesting, but also I find very, very funny at deliverer of emotions and a great, great actor. And I can't wait to jump into today's talk and get a lot of value out of this for you, creative community. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to this, and also subscribe to the amazing content of Sir Darius Blain. And now, without any further ado, let's see what's cooking. So welcome, Sir Darius Blain.
I appreciate you, brother. I feel like I have huge shoes to fill now that you've lauded me all of these days. But thank you. Our acting classes are actually based in Los Angeles. I just happen to be in Atlanta right now on location filming Will Trent.
Very cool.
Right now for ABC. And so while I'm here, I've been offering our acting intensive, our pilot season intensive while we've been here, as well as personalized coaching. So we're expanding now as an acting community. I started the Let's Talk acting community 2 years ago, technically, where we started this huge group chat that now has grown up to 350 actors and counting, where we offer free career advice. We'll help each other with self-tapes and giving each other pointers on sort of how to navigate this very lonely journey sometimes, So,
yes, and full of rejections and no's and contradictions.
Exactly, 100%. We are walking conundrums over here. But I've been coaching actors professionally for a little over 12 years. I've been doing the Let's Talk Acting intensives for the last 6 years, but we started the online community about 2 years ago, and it's been incredible. It's been such a reward.
You've been on many shows. You've been like around a lot, and still you find the will and the time to coach. Now, for me, it's similar. So I might guess what your motivations are, but that was like the first thing that hit me is like, this guy is crazy like me, because, if you work a lot as an actor and coach at the same time, right? There are two souls that need to be, energized, two different souls, right? So what gave you that first initial kind of tip up? Was it coincidence? Was it something spontaneous? What gave you like that idea? All right, let's coach actors as well as in addition to being an actor.
Right. Well, it started out, I had two roommates. I had two great roommates. Tyrone White is just coming off of American Auto and is now the newest cast member on what is that Fire show? Fire Country.
Fire Country,
right. CBS. And a really good friend of mine, Anthony Phillips, who's a fantastic actor and a tremendous writer as well.
Nice.
We were roommates, and we would help each other with self-tapes constantly. And I was pretty far along in my career, pretty much from the jump. I got some really fantastic opportunities. My first ever paid project was, one of the leads in Footloose for Paramount Pictures, which was
great, absolutely.
And so, from there, I did everything backwards. I booked my first big studio feature, and then I booked a commercial, and then I booked a guest star, and you know what I mean. So it's kind of all
reverse engineering,
right? Exactly. So, when we'd help each other with these auditions, I just started getting an affinity for like learning how to sort of, shorten the prep process, because sometimes we would each have 3 auditions in a day.
Sure.
And oftentimes we were auditioning for some of the same things. Me and Ty, especially, we were the same type, And so I started finding the nuance of work and the nuance and the breakdown and the scene study of these individual projects, and sort of started finding my own voice and realizing how differently, person to person, all of our interpretations of the text were, while all being within the confines of the story. And it always made sense. His version made sense, my version made sense. The other person, Anthony's version made sense, etc. And so I started coaching actors then, and we just started seeing really great results from our auditions. We were booking jobs kind of left and right. the two of them were also 5 years older than me, and so I think there was some resistance to begin with. Like,
Right, and some
oh, no.
inertia, like, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then they started getting like callbacks and being put on hold, and what we
Oh, so it works.
I mean, there's something to it. And so I think
Right, right.
sort of putting ego aside and letting fellow actors help you along your journey is a really important aspect of this business that we don't discuss enough, because it is such an individual journey. And again, if you're on a set, obviously you're not coaching your co-stars, right? Um,
Mm-mm.
but
Well, it
in
happened to me once, but that was a
oh,
very weird circumstance. I don't want to experience that anymore. It was
I would never
crazy.
do it. I wouldn't
No,
even
no,
consider
no,
it.
no. He was forcing me to do it. I said no at the beginning as well. I was like, no, this is too crazy. But then yeah, kind of developed that way. But never again, for sure.
Hilarious, yeah. So I just I got an affinity from that, but also my mom is an
Hmm.
educator. She was a teacher for
Hmm.
25 years, and so watching
It
her
was somehow already in.
help and rehabilitate lives through teaching was incredible. I love actors. I am an actor first, and I will do it until I die. And I just know the joy of being able to actually do your work. We don't.
Hmm.
It's not often that we get the opportunity to show our work, and so I wanted people to have the opportunity to really like relish in their work and really have an opportunity to show what their true talents are without burning any bridges along the way. And so we marry the technical with the practical, with the
Beautiful.
emotional, with the
Hmm.
intellectual in our work
Hmm.
as well. So what it is laying a foundation, a very technical foundation, and then throwing all of that away and just living
Beautiful.
free. And so I know a lot of really fantastic actors that are great actors that you'll never see. They're on someone's couch somewhere.
Yeah,
They're the
I
best
agree.
actor on a couch that you've ever
Yeah.
seen, but they don't understand the technical aspect of the business. It's still an acting business. There's a reason they call it show business. And so I
Yeah.
also help actors navigate the business side of acting, whether it be learning how to, canvas for agents and managers,
Hmm.
learning
Hmm.
how to change your reps properly without
Hmm.
burning bridges,
Hmm.
learning what a test deal is, what
That's
is a strain
interesting.
test,
Right.
what is a
Because
triple tender.
usually,
Yeah,
yeah, usually I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is like something huge that you guys kind of, do on an edition that is not, self-understanding all the time. Because usually, schools want to get you out there, yeah, audition, start working, right? They teach you maybe how to, of course, work on your craft and all that, but really
right,
the fundamental structure is what you need. The phantom structure, the soft structure, right, is the structure that will keep you up on the summit point. To get
mhm,
up, on top is sometimes even easier than some might assume, but to stay on top and constantly grind out high qualitative, excellent material every time you get called to action.
right,
Therefore, you need all that type of security and safety nets and structure that not a lot of people teach that. So that's why I also, when I stumbled over your content, I jumped into your lessons, and I love the way how you guys actually have such an interesting, intense energy. Like you're actually more on the quiet side, but in LA sometimes teachers
right,
yell and they're all outgoing and beat up the
right,
play, which is fine. I love comedians and show people as well. It's also a lesson that you learn. But I love the way how you really intimately kind of honestly speak to people and tell them, listen, there is of course this and that is going on, but
right.
everything is doable if you have the right technique and the right thought for it.
100%, 100%. Yeah. So, I yell sometimes. I do. Depends on
Yeah,
the
me
person.
too. I'm passionate. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. What we sell over here, and again, loosely using that word, but what we promote at LTA, at Let's Talk Acting,
Hmm.
is a casual approach to helping build professional acting careers. It's a very casual conversation. I think a lot of times there's so much anxiety that comes along with like learning acting. It's like
Yes.
you get it right, get it
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
I'm in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
class
Yeah.
of, oh, oh my God, I'm in a class with this person. He's a TV star, he's a movie star. Oh, this is a really
Yeah.
big teacher. I'm really nervous and blah, blah, blah. So there's
Hmm.
anxiety with it.
Hmm.
And when I first started Let's Talk Acting, I actually started it in my apartment. I had this huge loft in Marina Del Rey that doubled as an event
Beautiful.
space. And so I actually had my students come in, and I rearranged a bunch of really comfortable couches and bean bags and stuff
Hmm.
so people could sit on the floor floor and take your shoes off and relax. And I started cooking them salmon. And there's actually a video on it. It's the first video we ever have on
Nice.
LTV.
Good.
If you scroll down to
Cooking
the
is
bottom,
good.
not a far scroll, but I cooked salmon for them while I talked to them about acting. I gave them wine and champagne, and we just relaxed. And I said, okay, you know, you guys have your sides. You've had your sides for 2 days now. Let's get into the scenes. But I wanted to connect with actors first so that they could get comfortable to be in a space amongst their peers where it could just feel like a casual get together, you know, more than like, oh, you know, cracking the whip or anything like that. You know, I think there's less learning that goes on when it's a more tense sort of environment. And so, you know, my mom is from the South, and she always said, you catch more flies with honey, baby, you know. And so I found a way to sort of turn my teaching into honey. Now, I have, you know, we have actors from all varying levels in their careers, from beginners all the way up to full-blown movie and TV stars. That are
you have a physical studio. Please correct my initial mistake. Please tell people where they can find you in LA. You know, because I was looking at the material and I wrongfully thought it's Atlanta, but please tell them also.
Yeah, we're in LA. We don't tell the exact location of the studio.
Oh, okay, sure.
Purchase just for security purposes, because we do have some really big stars sometimes, and I've dealt with stalkers and stuff in the past, and so you know, it's an intimate setting, but it's in Hollywood, very accessible to all of LA, and we have a lot of students that fly in for our classes. Our classes are quarterly, so we do them about every 3 months typically. We're doing more this year because we just came out of this rough you know, actors strike, and we want to get everybody as prepared as possible first quarter of this year. But yeah, you can find us when you hit us on at Let's Talk Acting on Instagram or at letstalkacting.com. We'll give you the exact location information once the guests sign up and stuff. But even for our guests who are coming in from out of town, so I've got a lot of students on the East Coast that fly in for classes all the time. What we've started doing, I also own a travel company on the side. So what we've started doing is I'll use my corporate discounts for my travel company, and we'll book an actor house for the weekend from Friday to Monday for the actors to be able to come and stay, you know, in a loft-style apartment basically together. It'll be 4 rooms or 6 rooms or however is necessary, so that they can come and get the learning. And you know, it's pennies on the dollar. It ends up being you know, much cheaper than you would imagine. But I just want actors to have an opportunity to learn amongst each other. Now, the actors that I end up having to crack the whip with, those are the ones that know better. Those are the ones that are incredible actors already. They're a millisecond away from having an explosion.
I know what you mean.
And I know you know better. What the hell was that? You know, come on. You know,
I can get very passionate too sometimes, because I know exactly what, you know, the human capital is that I have in front of me usually, right? I mean, of course, I can be wrong sometimes, but usually I get a very good sense of reading people. I'm in this industry also for a long time, so you get a sense of who's working well and who has what it, you know, the fire bundle, right? You know, you see it, and so therefore, when I see a huge fire bundle, I get really upset if they don't use it well to light the room, to finally illuminate the room, to finally spark the ideas, to finally accept their greatness. Because usually it's just an avoidance of their own capitalization. They just, you know, they're slightly scared of accepting how great they are.
Of course, it's one of my.
And so there, I can get, you know, I'm Sicilian, I can get upset about that, but I also correct them.
I come from the perspective of sports and athletics, and so this coaching can feel like you're on a sport team, you know, sometimes. I tell actors all the time that come to our classes that you know, acting is a physical sport. It is.
Yes.
And so I have a certain guy who's super handsome. He's a freaking movie star, right? Really great looking guy. Comes into the class. I haven't seen him in 4 or 5 months, and I'm like, "What the hell did you do? You let yourself go, man. That's not your brand. His brand is superstar, super handsome. You know, he's
keep up.
You know, get yourself back. You know what I mean?" And so I came back to class in Atlanta this past weekend, and he comes in class, and he is right back to where he was. He's
right,
and he crushes his scenes. You know what I mean? The only things that I'll yell at people about is not tapping into their own potential. Not believing your own potential. We do a lot of
it's the system. The system wants you to be small. The system wants you to be infuriated all the time. The system wants you to be distracted. The system wants you to be weak, right? So therefore you know, you consume a lot. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like a crazy conspiracy theory. We're not talking about some dark forces from. It's like this is what. Of course, it's a big system. They
Right.
want to govern as smoothly as possible. I would do the same probably if I had to kind of reign over 400 million people. But in the
Right.
end, it's about our greatness and to accept that yes, the system
Mhm.
can play its game. I'm gonna play my game. And so
100%.
I'm gonna focus now on the shit that is really important because this shit over here is not important. It's
Right.
not aligning with my values. Stop it,
Mhm.
right? You know exactly. You can buy stuff at a certain point. That stuff will look back at you. The Dalai Lama said, the more stuff you own, the more the stuff owns you, baby.
I'm still in that. Okay. I am still in that. The more stuff you own, the more stuff
The
owns you.
stuff looks back at you.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but
I had over 200 pairs of Jordans of sneakers, man. I had a hip hop store back in Germany for years. We were dealing with beautiful stuff. Man, I had so many shoes. So
amazing.
many. I put that I mean, hats. Are you kidding me? I had everything of Ralph Lauren. I had everything. I sold everything. I never felt better. I
Mm,
never felt better because it was taking away focus from me. Yes, I love fashion and I love to have money to buy expensive fashion, but the more I own, the more the stuff owns me. So at a certain point, what I started doing is like, okay, I realized that I love fashion, but I also realized that I'm getting addicted to the, consumption instead of just being sometimes just a nice dopamine flash that I can allow myself after like a long period of hard work. Okay, I reward myself and then I buy something fancy once in a while. But if it's getting out of hand, it means that I'm gonna get addicted to it. So what did I do? I buy stuff and I resell it after a couple of months. I put it to a thrift shop, like vintage store, and I get rid of it. And so I make
yeah,
some money again back out of it. And it was beautiful to wear for a while, but now I let it go. Now I have like 3 pairs of sneakers and 2 are just for running. So and I feel better.
yeah, that's amazing. I love that. I love that. Yeah. Our back to what you were talking about, with our coaching style. I have a partner that is able to pop in sometimes and help us teach classes. His name is Oliver McCready, and he is
Hmm.
one of my best friends in life. But A1 I would say, he is a wealth of knowledge in this acting industry. He comes
Oh,
from
beautiful.
a long line of actors, from 1,300 years of actors. There are medieval posters with the McCready name on it. As
That's pretty
for
amazing,
plays from
man.
1,300 years ago. His mother was an actor, his father was an actor, his uncle, his grandfather, etc. From It's a Wonderful Life to Some Like It Hot, and all these incredible movies throughout the years. And so I've got an opportunity to really teach alongside him, but more importantly, to learn alongside him as well. And we play the good cop, bad cop thing sometimes with certain students.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I can see it.
right. It's been a great juxtaposition of great balance. We're at the point now where we're considering opening up an additional studio out where he lives, actually in Arizona. He's from LA, but moved out to Arizona to be near
Hmm.
some family and stuff like that. But um, it's been absolutely incredible getting an opportunity to pour back into actors, and selfishly enough, we end up learning so much each time as well. And every time I finish one of these classes, I book something, because I'm reminded of
I
the
totally agree.
foundational core principles of acting that I've
Yes.
forgotten maybe throughout the years, or forgot to keep reincorporating into my work and stuff like that. So it's definitely a symbiotic relationship where we're giving to them and we're being poured back into, and reminded how much we love what we do. When that light bulb goes off in your students'
Yes.
eyes, where they're like, "Oh my God, I can do this thing. I didn't
Yeah.
know that I could do it. I've always wanted to do it, but I didn't know that I could do it." And this happens with, even some of the people that are movie stars that are trying to transition, into doing, a different genre, etc. And so
Hmm.
it's such a rewarding process.
I feel like it was to you a bit maybe also through what you perceived from your mother and kind of having that contact already with performance and having that type of style already, right? That you had maybe an easier transition. But what was the initial technique or the initial moment that kind of made you really realize, all right, I can do this. I can be a performer myself as well.
Man, I never knew that I wanted to be an actor, to be perfectly honest with you.
Hmm.
I secretly always enjoyed it as a child, but I was an extremely shy child, like shy to the point of shaking. I had social anxiety really bad. I still kind of do, to be perfectly honest with you. Red carpets are very hard for me. I have to do a lot of
Hmm.
weird things in the car before I get out, where I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, no.
carpets itching. I'm like,
I hate it as well. I hate it as well.
and so I've learned how to sort of attack social situations throughout the years, where I
Hmm.
walk into a room and I say, "Hi, how are you? I'm Serdarius. Where are you
Hmm.
from?"
Hmm.
I say,
Hmm.
"Okay, he's from Sicily. That we do something in our acting class called a Sicilian speed through, which means that we go really, really
Yes.
fast in the
See,
text,
La
right?"
Siciliana in Italian theater, it's also a term like La Siciliana. You do it very, very fast.
I love that. Parlo solo un poco italiano.
Che cosa stai dicendo?
Yeah,
What? Come
yeah,
mai
man.
parli l'italiano? È
Yeah,
incredibile.
man. I learned. I worked in an Italian restaurant in New York City and in Florida, but I'm in love with Italian culture. I'm actually going back to Italy next year again. But
Ma che
so what
bello.
what happened was I was secretly watching every movie, every TV show I possibly could, playing make believe
What do
when
you
my
mean
mom
with secretly? Let me ask, because you're mentioning twice now secretly. What
when
does
my
that,
mom
how
wasn't
does that look
home.
like?
When my mom wasn't home, I would create
Nice.
costumes. I would write plays and stuff for myself. I was an
That's
only child.
it. That's
I
the
would
juicy
write
stuff.
plays for myself, and I started a
Mm, mm,
series. I
mm,
started
mm.
a medieval series, like as if I was one of the
Nice.
knights of the round table, and I would do all of these things and play all this crazy make believe when my mom wasn't home. When she would come home, I would hide all of my stuff, and I would just sit there and be my normal, quiet self. It was a bit psychotic now that I think of it, but
No, that's
it was
acting. It makes perfectly sense.
right. But then I turned 12, my mom was an English teacher at my middle school, and they lost their drama teacher. So the principal asked her if she would take over the drama program because she had some performance background from college and had done a commercial and also was a singer, in the early 80s.
Hmm.
And she was like, "Sure, I'll take over it." Anyway, first year she won the state drama competition and everything like that. I was not in drama class,
Sure.
FYI.
Yeah.
But I would help her out because I would be
Yeah.
stuck at school till 7 8 p.m. for rehearsals with her and stuff like that. And
So,
so I started picking up some
right.
things along the way. But I was always a writer. I did state writing competitions from the time I was in third grade all the way up through college. And I helped my mother write a play when I was in seventh
Hmm.
grade. I memorized that play front to back, every single word somehow. I don't know how. I didn't mean
Hmm.
to. I was trying to memorize it, but I knew all the words. And my mom heard me reciting them one day. She said, "Do you know all the
Hmm.
words?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You need to
Hmm.
audition for this play." So she had a panel of teachers that would cast her plays for her. And so I went and I auditioned and I didn't get it. So I ended up being
Ding
I ended up
dong.
right. I ended up being the understudy. I got cast as the understudy. And so I was like, okay, great. I'll just have to know everybody's sides. And then I will never have to be in this play. Sure enough, the first performance through, the lead kid, Nick, got sick and never did another show. So I had to do the remaining 7 shows. And the first time I was about to walk out on that stage, my heart was pounding through my chest. I mean, you could see my shirt
Beautiful.
physically moving. Okay.
Beautiful.
And the curtains opened and everything just went.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I looked
But I
around. I
mean,
paused for a moment before my first line. I didn't even speak immediately. I just paused
hmm,
and I looked
yeah,
out at these 300 people in this audience.
great stuff.
It. This is it.
Yes.
It was this incredible
Yeah.
high. You know that high that you feel when you get to
Mm-mm-mm.
act.
I
And
also had my first grade play at 12. When I read that, when I did the research, it's like, yeah, that's pretty similar. And I knew, man, that to you it felt similar like it felt to me. That I was, like you were saying, like first, I was like, what the hell? I'm gonna do this for the rest of my
that's
life
the
for
thing is
sure,
like,
baby. I knew
yeah,
it. I knew it's like, for sure. This makes a lot of fun. I get also paid for this. You kidding
right,
me? Are you
right.
kidding me? And this is when I also get sometimes a bit passionate with my clients. It's like, are you realizing that if you put some discipline and consistency behind this, that you one day will earn money by playing? So your work attribution will be playing, that you can have
Yeah,
fun and get money at the same. And now you complain about blah blah blah, complain about the do the work. You
yeah, I
will
know.
get there, and there is nothing better than getting paid for playing. Let me tell you.
100%. Half the time you feel like, wait, I would do this for free if my family was taken care of, right? You know what I mean? Like it feels like
Nice.
you're robbing a bank
Yes.
almost, getting away with it. I'm really grateful that I've gotten an opportunity to
Your
find a way
mom
to
must
feed
be really
myself
proud
with my
also, right?
what's that?
Your mom must be really proud also. My mom was
Yeah,
exploding when she saw me like the first time and say she was like I could
yeah,
spot her like like that her head was red.
yeah. My mom goes nuts for this. And funny enough, at 55 years old, my mom got back into acting 14 years ago, and she
Nah.
booked her first audition, the first one. I was coaching her in acting and everything, and she booked her first audition, and then she didn't book one for like three more auditions. She was like, maybe I don't have it anymore. It's like, Mom, you got one out of four. That's amazing. Then she booked the
That's
fourth one.
incredible.
You know,
That's
shoot,
incredible.
or she booked the fifth one. Then after that, she's a super talented actor herself, and I'm in awe of her. She's 69 years old now, and still living her dream. And I think as long as you have a story inside of you, it's never too late. I have some clients that are up to 60. Well, my mom is one of them, but
Sure.
I have
Absolutely.
clients that are nine, all the way to etc.
Mhm. Let
So
me
yeah.
just, let me just ask you really quick because was it like because you had that first like epiphany, right? That moment you experienced that pretty early in your life. And I wanna ask you about this because I feel like this is also important to some of the students that are maybe, kind of on and off with acting and don't really know if it's their thing, if they really should pursue it, if they really should let go of all the other restrictions and plunge themselves into the unknown field where because to me it was also similar. I experienced professional acting very early in my life, and then I kind of started thinking, oh, maybe I should do something serious or a bit more regular, a bit more orthodox. Like in terms of, was that the reason you went to med school? You started also kind of looking into that, or was it something that you really felt you would love to do?
Well, my family is Haitian and Dominican. My mom is American, but
Mm-hmm.
she's adopted. She has no family, so it's just her, and then it's my father's family. It's a very, very big, very,
Mm-hmm.
very serious, Haitian family, and
Beautiful.
love them all. In Caribbean cultures, you come to America. My
Mm-hmm.
family came to America in like 1983. When you come to America, you get a good job. You get a job in government. You
Understand.
get a job in medical. You get a
Mm-hmm.
job in legal. You get a real job. A real
Mm-hmm.
career.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always an academician. I
Makes
had great
sense.
grades growing up. My dad was an academician. He had straight A's his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
My father also has two kids. They all have straight A's. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And so, truthfully speaking, I knew that I wanted to help people. I'll say that. I've
Mm-hmm.
always wanted to help people. I love
Mm-hmm.
people. I want to care for them. I love people, though I was terribly afraid of them all, because of my own
Interesting.
stuff. Um,
Right. Mm-hmm.
I had great grades. I wanted to help people. So, like, what does someone with great grades who wants to help people do? Be a doctor or be a lawyer or be, you know what I mean? So, like, I want to be a doctor. And I was always healing the little animals and stuff around my home. If I ever found a bird with a broken leg or a turtle that was lost or, whatever it was, a dog that needs to be fed. And so,
Sure.
it felt like that should be it. And also, I think it just sounded really good to my family when I said it.
Mm.
And,
Makes
I
sense.
wanted to be a hero to them as well. And I got to an age, my second year in college, where I realized that I wasn't living for me and that I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
doing the things that necessarily made me happy. I wasn't sure what that
Mm-hmm.
was, what those were, what
Mm-hmm.
those things were, because I'd never explored it before either. And so I was like, you know what? I want to take an opportunity to explore what I want in my own life. And I went to this acting modeling talent competition with my ex girlfriend at the time, and she was going to audition for this talent competition for Disney, and there were 1,100 people at this audition, and they were only going to choose 90 people. Long story short, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sitting in the lobby waiting for her, and the lady who was signing people up was like, "Hey, you should go. You should go and try out." And I was like, "Me?" She's like, "Yeah, you should go." I was a lot slimmer and more handsome at the time, but but she convinced me to go and audition for this thing, and of course me and my girlfriend actually got chosen as two of the 90 people that were going to move on in 6 months to go audition for this Disney showcase. Essentially, it's called
Mm-hmm.
AMTC at the time. No, it's no longer around. But um, I went ahead and went forward with it. She did not, but I went forward with it, and I got a scholarship to acting modeling I'm sorry, an acting school called the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts, and I got a modeling contract at the same time in New York City. And so when I was sitting
I
in
see.
one of my labs in my bio class one day, I was sitting there thinking about this opportunity that I had, and at a point, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And I got up, I walked out of class. Mind you, I was on a full scholarship. Okay, so
Yeah.
my
That's
mom
why. I
was
mean,
like,
it's an interesting story, and I feel a lot of people can
"Okay."
relate to that. That's why I wanted to ask you.
Right, right. So I walked out of that class. I think my professor knew I wasn't coming back, and he just kind of shook his head, and I walked out, and I never went back. And so I went and I
Yeah.
talked to my mom, and I was like, "Hey, I really want to try this acting thing. What do you think?" And part of me was afraid, and so I was hoping she might say no,
Hmm.
so then I could have the
Hmm.
excuse of, "Hey, my parents didn't believe in my
Yes.
dream," and so I never did it, and
Right.
so it's not a big deal. I went and did the safe
Hey.
thing, but
Right.
instead, you know
Right.
what my mom said? "I think that's a great idea. Go do it." She said, "How long do you have your scholarship? How long is it valid?" I said, "5 years." She said, "Okay, if acting doesn't work out in 5 years, then we go back to school." And I was like,
Wow. Ah,
"Okay."
that's also great of her. I mean, like my mom was the same. She was very supportive, but I mean, similar to your mom, I guess, like she was coming out of Sicily when she was 16 to Germany. She was immigrating there. So it wasn't easy for her to kind of, she raised me alone. My father divorced us very, very early. And so, like, to tell me, yeah, sure, go for your acting thing. I mean, that wasn't easy. And through that, I understood maybe a bit more what the value of my proposition was because I said, if my really like my mother was really assertive, quality comes before everything. She taught me how to learn German, learn Italian, be very strict and all that to kind of perform well in this foreign country. So if she, with her very high, idea of quality and what she understands you have to produce, said, yeah, give it a shot, then she must assume that I'm not so bad, right? So,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
taught me something. That gave me the responsibility also.
That's amazing. Yeah, my dad was not so happy about it though. He cussed me out on the phone and was like, "Don't talk to me. You're an idiot. You're a stupid American idiot, basically." And
No, it's
didn't talk to
good,
me for a little
man.
bit. But you know what? That was fear, though. He was afraid for me. You want the best for your
Sure.
children. You want them to have
Yes.
the best in life. You don't want them to struggle. And acting is a very 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 hard road where people do struggle. 1% of actors makes their entire living off of acting, and so he didn't want me to set myself up for failure. But my father's one of my biggest supporters now, and has been for the last 15 years of my career,
Hmm.
where he just thinks I'm the best thing since sliced bread. So it's a great thing. Acting can also unite people when they see that you have that magic inside of you, and that's
Sure.
something I really preach to the people that I coach as well, is that there's magic in you. Do you believe in the magic? Um,
Boom,
you are
boom.
you are and you are a changer of hearts and of
Yes.
being. And so I really encourage people to change atmospheres with their magic, and that's what we do as actors.
Beautiful.
So I'm
I
still
always
I'm, I'm
say,
still I'm still healing hearts.
we're agents of transformation. Actors
Mm,
are agents of transformation.
I'm
If
gonna
we
write
don't
that down.
transform,
I actually really like that. I'm gonna write that down. We are
sure,
agents of
man. Thank you,
transformation.
man. Feel honored.
Yeah, we are agents of transformation. I love that. Yeah,
Tell me,
great.
because this is really, it's great that we had, due to our circumstances, supportive, family members and an environment that maybe worked with us instead of against us. What would you tell the young gun out there that is a bit alone in this quest, right? Because this happens as well. Now, we were very lucky, even though our circumstances were not the most incredible and prestigious, but even though we were lucky and to have a supportive background because not everybody has that. So what do you recommend those people, like what should they do in order to get connected to more supportive grounds and environments that kind of foster the best in him?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. First of all, I'll tell you this. Um, I think it's important to have community in any quest that you have in life, to create community for
Mhm.
yourself and staying connected to people like you, staying to connected to groups like ours, like Let's Talk
Yeah,
Acting. Um, I think
sure.
that's really important, to find people that you can sort of work out your material with or voice your frustrations to as well. People that understand you. Now, for the ones that don't
Hmm.
understand you, I mean, there's several people, that I've come across in life that I really love dearly, that have also been like, well, when are you going to be in a movie with Denzel, or when are you gonna be Will Smith? When are you gonna, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Or man, I haven't seen him on anything in a while. Is everything okay? You know, you get all those kind of questions, and they're really frustrating. It burns you up inside, and it makes you feel small. You know, to be perfectly honest, I've learned how to convert them into believers. I use the art of manipulation, as we all do. We all use manipulation
Of course.
to bring them over to my side, and the smart ones will come. And what I do is I say, "Oh man, well, I appreciate your concern and thank you for supporting me so much. It's been actually a really great year. I got a few callbacks on my last few auditions. I was put on hold for one even. And so, my career is on an uptick right now. My agents are really happy. My manager's really happy. The indie project that I just did last year is actually getting ready to go to a film festival. I just won a film festival. And so everything's really good. Everything's really good. But again, thank you for your continued support. Every time you say something to me, I feel like something great happens. So I appreciate you.
Of course, of course. Also,
And
because thank you for sending me energy. You sent me
right.
energy.
They
Yeah.
stop dead in their tracks half the time because they have to think. A, of all, is he crazy? Did he not just hear that I insulted him? And second of all, they're like, wait, did I just insult him? I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? They don't understand our business. And so ignorance becomes a deterrent in their support sometimes. And so, I would say it's really important to sort of try to find the positive in everything. Try to hear something that's not even there, you know? No, that person did not support me. Yes, that person made me feel small, but I will let them think that they made me feel big, and they will change the way they speak to me next time. And it works most of the time.
Listen, I mean, it sounds sometimes so mundane to just say it, or banal, if you want to call it so, but you are alone only if you really believe that you're alone, because you're actually not. You're not alone. You're not alone. First of all, he's always there, right? First of all.
Absolutely.
And then second of all, I mean, look at you. Really? This energy, look, yes, there he is. First of all, he's always there. Always. But second of all, I mean, why don't you look at you? It's like, go search for the people, actively behave like someone who wants to be engaged with this environment, behave like somebody who's not toxic, and you will attract not toxic, supportive, great community people, right? Go to communities, open yourself up to a community, post it on Facebook, come over, get a cup of coffee, let's talk about acting, let's get a reading, let's get a live session, let's stream something. If you believe you're alone, then you are alone. Of course, it's easier said now, after, looking back at my career, it's beautiful and everything. But, if I be totally honest with you, this is what I was doing when I was a young gun as well. When I was at drama school and when I was alone, yes, of course, there was a mother, there was somebody, but hey, nobody was teaching me how to navigate this business. I wasn't like, gifted with a great management or like a super cool agent that was introducing me to the right people. I had to kind of, teach this to myself.
Right.
And so there were nights where everything was frustrating and dark. And then I said, hey, do I want it to be frustrating and dark for the next week as well? No. So let's do something about it.
Yeah. Mindset is everything as well. Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of changing atmospheres too, is training your mind, to be positive as well. Yeah.
How do you stay hungry?
How do I stay hungry? Well, I mean, honestly, I'm of the mindset that this can be gone tomorrow, any moment. And so staying in love with acting is about staying in love with the idea of storytelling. Um, you know, I'm always looking for the next big thing, the next big moment of my career as well. The next thing that's going to stretch me and cause me to grow, and staying active and ready for a fight too. I'm not going to tell you the truth. Again, I approach everything like an athlete too. I'm ready to fight for that next role. I'm ready to let these people know that I belong here too, and continue to tell myself that I do as well. And so, creating immediate attainable goals for yourself is really important. And so, like, my thing right now is being consistent and waking up no later than 5:30 a.m. every single day, reading a script,
Yes,
at least
sir.
one script every single day. Now I'm not going to sustain this for the rest of my career, probably not. But I
No.
gave myself a challenge, during the strike too, to watch 90 movies in 90 days as well. I went, 63 days straight, and then I missed 2 days, and then I watched, 4 movies during those days,
Nice.
as well.
What was
You
the
know what I
best
mean?
movie that you saw in that period? Top of your head.
It's funny because I rewatch movies sometimes too, but Mystic River is
Right.
one of the best
Wow, I
movies.
was thinking watching that the other night. Yeah, it's Mystic River is
So great,
great.
so great. But
Clint Eastwood is a
yeah,
fantastic director, man.
yeah, 100%.
It's
Yeah.
he's
So
fantastic.
yeah, but creating small attainable goals where I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I control this. I can control this narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I can't control if I book jobs or not, but I can control how much knowledge I'm putting in my mind. You know what I mean? I can control how many words I'm consuming. Actors who don't read
Nice.
really concern me. Where I'm like, wait, you are
I
working in
love
a
that.
medium
Yes.
that is run by
Yes.
words, and you don't consume words on a daily basis. That's very scary to me. You can't want 6 and 7 figures worth of
Yeah,
income and you're putting
absolutely.
in $5 worth of work. So
Right. Nice.
what keeps
That's
me hungry
beautiful.
is the possibility of each next day being my next best day.
Beautiful.
Tomorrow's going to be the best day of my life, always.
I'm gonna say this, right, because I saw the first Jumanji when I was a kid in theaters, and then I saw the remake with you with Bridge in the movies. It was crazy, like, because I don't go anymore, but that I felt like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. It's like a nostalgia thing, and man, you don't have to say anything. It was really like you were one of those silver lining moments in the movie. The rest, I really didn't catch fire with it, but you were great, and I loved what you did, and you have a great rhythm, a great sense of timing, beautiful perception of comedy. It's great. Your mimic changes so fast. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into this franchise and about developing this character that is super funny? I think you should do more. I mean, you did some comedy. I saw a lot of comedy credits, but I think I don't know, like maybe even a stand-up. You could, I think, explore that even more. You're truly funny.
So funny you say that. Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. When I was in college, I
Truly.
did not think I was funny at all. And so I was like, I put myself in a box. I was like, I'm a dramatic actor. What do you mean? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I ask my students sometimes the trick question. I say, are you a dramatic actor? Are you a comedic actor? Like, what do you think?
Mhm.
Action. And they'll pick one. And I say, trick question. You're all of them. You can do all of it. I think it's important to be a Swiss Army knife, as
Yeah.
artists and as actors. I started realizing what kind of comedy best suited me. Now, am I the goofy, over the top, knee slapper, funny guy? No, I am the
Hmm.
best straight man alongside a funny man that there is. And so for me, I tell people all the time to really focus on the truth in comedy. And it's actually one of my favorite books as well. It's a book called The Truth in Comedy. If you don't have it, get it. It's a quick, easy read. Tell anybody to get it as well. I've been reading and rereading that book for the last 17 years. And it's helped me tremendously along my way. There's also another book from Harold Guskin called How to Stop Acting. It's a
I think I
fantastic
heard
book as
about
well.
this one.
Harold
Mhm.
Guskin, how to stop acting.
I'm gonna write this down.
I realized that I played a great straight man, so I was like just rooted in truth all the time, extreme
Mm.
truths, and I find that irony is funny, and so
Yes,
I
it is
lean into the
truly.
irony of the comedy all the time. If I can find some irony in there, I'll lean into it. You know what I mean? A giant man like me, I'm 6'5", 250 pounds. I lean into the irony of feeling small, or I lean
Nice.
into
I
the
love
irony of,
that.
of, of whining, of
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, come on,
Understanding,
man.
yeah, because
I
you
don't
were
want to go back in there. You know, it's the truth. It's how I feel inside. It might not be how
Mm-mm-mm.
I really say it in real life, but for the sake of this movie and the tone of this movie. Also, big shout out to Jake Kasdan and Scott Pinkner and all the amazing people that helped write Jumanji as well and give us this really dope, grounded comedy too. It's not over the top and
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone believes
No, the first
everything
one
they're saying
worked definitely, but
is doing it.
yeah, definitely the
Yeah.
first one worked. And
Mhm.
was it like the usual audition process? Was something special about it? How did you develop this character?
Yeah, there was something special about it. For me, I had friends that had been auditioning for Jumanji for 6 months before I even got one myself because I didn't think that I even fit. I didn't think I fit the character. At the time I was like 27 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this doesn't make any sense for me. So I went over to the casting, casting office, and I sat there for an hour and a half. Like, it was taking forever to get inside the room. And I called my agent and said, "Hey, look, man, I'm about to leave because I had another audition that day." I was like, "I gotta leave. I got another audition that I can actually book. This doesn't make any sense for me." You know what I mean? He was like, "Just wait, wait." So I go in there, do my thing, audition. I dropped a line or two even, but this casting office, I had tested for a couple of really big movies with them in the
Mm.
recent past. And so they just started me over, and they're, did my thing again. I got a couple of laughs in the room, and I left. And I went to the audition that I thought I could book. I didn't book that one either. But
It's good.
I
It's all you always turn it.
right. It's funny because I had just booked a movie called Captain Dad with Will Ferrell. And it was a role that I didn't really want, to be perfectly honest with you, but it was a big role. Um, and there was a lot of really great people in that movie, Jamie Bell and
Hmm.
Jennifer Connelly, and all these people. Anyway, long
That's
story
wonderful,
short,
man.
yeah, a couple of weeks go by, and I get a call from my manager or sorry, my agent. He was like, "Hey, remember that audition a couple of weeks ago that you said you weren't going to book?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Well, you're the director's choice for it." I said, "Wait, what, for Jumanji?" He was like, "Yeah, you're the director's choice." I said, "Man, look," I said, "Mike, get off my phone unless it's a booking." He knows not to call me if I'm on hold for anything or anything like that. It's just a
Right.
yes or a no, you know. So I hang up. He calls me back 30 minutes later. He said, "Look, he's on a boat in Italy, funny enough, and
Dun,
he's
dun.
literally about to dock so he can go and call Sony and tell them, that
Nah,
you're the choice." And
beautiful.
I said, "Again, that's still not a booking. So get your phone."
Please.
He calls me like 30 more minutes later. I said, "Listen, man, look, stop calling my phone." He said, "You want to go to Hawaii?" I said, "For what?" He said, "You booked Jumanji." I said, shut up,
Is
shut up.
that the Haitian superstitious kind of influence in you that kind of pushed back in denial that this is maybe
Yeah.
something
Well,
that
it's,
could.
be anxious for nothing. Anything I really,
Yeah,
really
I get
want,
it.
I
I
never
get
get. So
it.
I'm just always like, look,
I'm
okay,
super
if it happens, it
superstitious.
happens. If not, it
Right,
doesn't,
right. Nice,
But
man.
it ended up being the greatest moment of my career. It's provided me a great opportunity to provide for my family, and people everywhere I go see me in the street. They're like, "Hey, is that Fridge? Oh my God."
Bridge, man.
Um,
You were absolutely shining in that movie. Great.
Thank
You
you, thank
you
you.
no, you it's just you can really tell. And I'm not sure I even said it to my wife when I said in a movie, like you can tell sometimes when you see someone is like, oh, something is going on with them. You can just spot it. It's the congruence of events. And that is, it sometimes, and I feel I don't know how you think about it. It's like what I also tell the students that are, less patient. It's sometimes you create something through your suffering, through your instruction, through just grinding and going to the schools and doing the work. It's almost like you would have an invisible kind of bank account with the universe. And you kind of, you serve that account. You serve that account. When you build your craft, it's kind of serving that account. Believe me, one day the desk will be open to withdraw. It's gonna be then that day when you kind of receive your check back.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, that's superstition. That's like some new age voodoo. And no, it's not new age voodoo talk. This
You've
is
been
how the
making
universe.
deposits into the universe. Of course, it owes you back. It's so funny. Just when I'm in doing our affirmations this past weekend for our students, we start the class where I have everyone take their shoes off, connect with the earth, find a way to find your balance. Breathe through any injuries that are happening in your body. We stretch, and we also do our affirmations. I kept telling them, "Do you believe that you are talented? Do you believe that you are magic? Tell the universe that it owes you. If you have done good and you've put good into the world, tell the universe that it owes you. Command the universe to give to you. Command it. Command your blessing because you know that you will redeposit your blessing as well. I
Hey,
know that
man.
I want a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of power. But I know that I want a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of power because I want money to help people and I want power of influence because I want to redirect the children in a positive direction as well, right? So also, I think understanding and knowing that acting and any art form is not for you. The gift is not for you. It's not yours. It is not yours. You are a servant to that gift.
Yeah,
You
conduit.
serve that gift.
Yes.
You serve
Yeah.
the story. You serve the
Yeah.
guests who get an opportunity to watch you. And then at the end, you serve yourself, then, of course, because you have to fulfill yourself artistically, of course. But it's not, your gift is not just for you. You don't have an incredible voice for it to only be heard by you. It's supposed to help someone. They're supposed to feel something when you speak, when you sing, when you act, when you think, when you move, when you sigh,
Mm-mm-mm.
think,
Yes,
when
because
you
that's behavior, that's human,
windshield.
that's us. This is the
Yeah.
cool stuff that the people want to see.
Hmm.
It's not that perfect, delusional, unlogical, unreachable level of perfection. No, it's that confusional, turmoil, messy, crazy compound of vowel and consonants that people want to see. And they don't sometimes, even us when we improvise the scene. And I want to ask you also if you had the liberty to kind of add your juice on top, when you were rehearsing for Jumanji. This is the
Hmm.
same thing. I mean, yes, of course we serve this. This is like our guidance here. But I always make this comparison. If you sail, like imagine you were sailing back in the days, 15th century, kind of trying to discover new land, right? And you were sailing over this crazy ocean that is unpredictable. You have a polar star, you have your Polaris, you have your North Star, you know where you're heading to, your guidance is there. But of course, sometimes you need to make smart decisions in order to avoid crashes or, you know, some other events. So you have one trajectory, that's your stretch goal. But inside of the scene, a lot of things can happen because, hey, there's some other compounds of vowels and consonants that are blasting back to you in the scene. So you have to
Hmm.
react, truthfully to them as well. It's not just your game plan and we're not Germans marching into Poland. We are, creative humans that want to react and behave.
Hmm. 100%. I always tell people that acting is communicating what it's like to be human. That's all it is. You know, that's all you're doing.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So you got to
You
live
had a
it
lot
too.
of. I'm sorry.
Hmm? No, I was just saying
Go
you
ahead.
you gotta be human. You gotta live too. You gotta really live, experience life.
Is there something? Is there something like goal-getting wise to close off this beautiful chat round? Because I'm sure you have your busy day and everything, and I'm so far I believe we found a lot of beautiful wells and pockets of good stuff that people can drain from and off. I think we delivered some value to the creative community today. So thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you for
Is there
having me.
anything like you still want to achieve? Or I mean, let me put it the other way, because for me, starting coaching came quite coincidentally, and then I developed a deep love and a profound sense of satisfaction that kind of comes from the coaching. It kind of grounds me and it takes me back to planet Earth when I'm back from the acting gig. And it's also for me very it's a great process to help others to achieve greatness, right? So you are sometimes even happier as them, right? Helping them to achieve those incredible goals. But what is
Yeah.
it? What are your future goals? How do you keep yourself steady on the route towards that Polaris?
All right. Well, one of my most attainable goals and one of my short-term goals is to teach a class with you, Lorenzo. First of
Oh,
all, so
I
that's
like
one.
that.
It would
I
be amazing
like
to do
that.
one in Florida. Let's do one there. Like,
Absolutely.
I could come back home, man. That's my hometown. You live in my hometown. So that's the
Ingredients
one.
there.
What are my goals? My goals are to really, really, really lean into as much truth as possible. I'm constantly working on my own acting craft on a daily basis, and so I'm trying to find opportunities to make it feel like I'm not acting more and more every single day.
Mm-mm.
And so, I've always said
Beautiful.
that I want my projects to feel like a slice of life, and like
Mm-hmm.
people are watching someone's real life happening before their eyes, or either getting an opportunity to sort of be a fly on the wall of the life of the character that I'm in. Um, I want to be a light on every set. I want to be a galvanizer of men, one who gets people together and helps them forget their problems or makes them face their problems through storytelling. Um, and honestly, I want to live a fulfilled life. Acting makes me happier than anything I've ever experienced. It's a high, like I said, that will never
Mm-hmm.
be replaced. And so, the more people that I can bring over, into that feeling, the better for me. And so, I will always sort of, proverbially send the elevator back down. Help people as much as I possibly
Yes.
can on this journey. The more I know, the more we all know. And so, if I say, hey, Lorenzo, you've got chicken, I've got corn, this other actor has,
Hmm.
the grain and blah, blah, blah,
Yes.
we can all pool our resources together to make one complete meal. And so community is supremely important to me. I will always be a community builder, and that will be my lifelong quest, forever. And so I just implore actors to really lean into to believing in themselves, believing in their spirits, and to do the work every single day, every
Do
day.
you network do you network a lot? And let me ask you this really quick. Do you network a lot? Do you recommend to network a lot, especially in cities like LA and big hubs like Atlanta?
Yeah, I don't like that. I call it the N word. I don't use the N word so much. I think that it's important to because people can feel it when you're networking with them. You know what I mean? And
Yes,
then I
yes,
think it kind
because
of
it's
turns people off a bit. I find
hmm
I find commonality, over food. Like I'm taking actually all of my students here in Atlanta. I got them tickets to this incredible show at the Alliance Theater. It's a great play, and
hmm
what they don't know is that afterwards I've made dinner reservations for all of us,
Wow,
to go
nice.
sit and have community and have some really great food at one of my favorite
Hmm.
restaurants in Atlanta, and just commune, and it helps build sort of the camaraderie and everything like that. And now you have a group of people that will help you self tape, or that will help you with career advice depending on where they're at and everything like that. And so, yeah, I think networking is important without as long as it's genuine. If it's genuine connection, absolutely. But it's not a hey, so what do you do and how can you help me?
Right. If it becomes
So I
just
think that
transactional,
right,
yes.
it can't be that. Otherwise,
Hmm.
it has no depth. And
Hmm.
actors, we invest in the art of empathy constantly. It is the art of empathy, and so we can feel things. We know when it's genuine and when it's not. So I think find commonality amongst other creatives and genuinely connect with them. The networking happens from there.
Sir Darius Blain, it was an incredible pleasure, an honor, a privilege talking to you almost for this hour. I think we have enlightened the minds of the creative community. They definitely can take something out of it, I'm sure. Please subscribe to his amazing content. Go join him in LA, hit him up. And also in Atlanta. And hey, in Florida, very soon too, we're going to have for sure a
We're
lot
gonna
of
do
fun.
Chicago. We're
And
gonna do Chicago as well. We're gonna do New York too, and
let's do
Philippines
it.
and South Africa and Australia and London as well. This is
You
it's a
just
worldwide thing.
It's the world and it's the creative community and it's the culture coming together and creating a great tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so
having
much, creative community, for stopping by. Like I said, we have all the links included down there, so definitely hit him up, follow us, and yeah, maybe also with the new masterclass that's coming up. If you're from the Miami area, for sure, you're more than welcome to join us over here too. That was another great episode of Talks on Acting with Let's Talk Acting. Again, I love this conundrum. We are a living oxymoron. We are creative people, so therefore this was a great blast of really juicy stuff. So take it away. And if you have any further questions, of course, DM me, set some comments down here, subscribe and like. See you next time with the next show. Thank you so much, guys. And now you're ready to perform.